Pop quiz for you, Mark. Who was the last starting senior running back for the University of Miami?
Okay. What you need to do when you throw one of these at me, you keep moving on. I'm going to get the wheels spinning up here. Give me a couple minutes on this one. Last senior running back who started. Okay.
No problem.
All right. So as soon as you offered up the question about the last senior running back to start at Miami, and I'm sifting through the live chat section. So unfortunately, everybody's playing along, which you should play along. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but then it pops names into my head because I see them, and I don't want that. I never want to be the guy that gets hints. I want to be able to answer the question on my own. So the first name that came to mind was, I went through the last 5 years, and I went back to Duke Johnson, but I think he declared early.
Big mistake, but yes, he did.
You think it was a big mistake? He's had a decent NFL career.
Oh, he's doing well. But I think that at that position, I would have loved to see him come back for another year.
Did you anticipate him being the kind of pro that he's been, which has been more pass receiver, third down back than it's been main guy?
Yes. As someone who watched him in person at Trash Pile Stadium, you knew that he was big for high school, at 5'9", 190 pounds or so. He was a pretty solid back. At Miami Norland in high school, as far as size. Now, he was big time on the field, of course. I saw him run track and things of that nature. But then he also, when he transitioned to Miami as a freshman, very first game against Boston College, I watched it from beginning to end. Very good game. His first carry was 4 yards. His second carry was a 62-yard run straight to the house. That's when I knew this guy's a scat back. He's a true scat back. And if we had a big-time OC who had more of a spread presence, we would see him used some in the slot, out of the backfield, little option game, get him moving east and west. Because James Coley loved to run him up the gut and off tackle sometimes. And I'm just like, why are we not using him the way he's supposed to be used? He goes to Cleveland, and that's what they tried to start him as an every down back, and it didn't work too well. So he started splitting carries with Isaiah Caldwell. Then they started using Duke as the third down back. He got a lot more yardage. They had him on punt and kick return. He got a couple yardage. They used him in the slot. So he's a pretty solid backup back, and he's a solid scat back. So from my evaluation, even back then, I felt if he went to the right team who could use him as a multitude, they had a big cowbell, and then use Duke, I think he would do really, really well. I would have loved to have seen a couple years ago when Duke first came to the Texans, Lamar Miller was there, and we were going to have Lamar Miller and Duke. But then Lamar Miller ended up tearing an ACL and kind of been in and out of the league the last couple of years, so we never got a chance to see those two together. But, I think Duke has always been more of a third down scat back.
All right, then I'm going back. I sifted through as best I could into the 2000s and went all the way back to the great teams with Frank Gore and Willis McGahee. James Jackson preceded them. I remember him playing against Ohio State in 99, and I think he was on the team in 2000. And obviously guys were sticking around a lot more than they are now. So I'm going to say it was one of those guys. Between Gore and McGahee, and it's amazing that we're sitting here and Frank Gore is still getting carries in the NFL. It's amazing. I think he eclipsed somebody to move himself into third place on the all-time rushing list this past Sunday or the Sunday before.
Yep.
Just ridiculous. A ton of people are guessing, Clinton Portis. A ton of people are guessing Mike James.
There you go.
Okay. Well, then we've got an educated group. You have done a nice job of educating the folks in the live chat because more people said Mike James than anyone. And that's why I bailed on my guess because I don't want to be led to an answer, but that seemed to be pretty prominent. So what year would that have been?
That was 2012.
Oh, it was okay. I thought he was a couple of years before that. Okay, 2012.
Because Duke Johnson was 12, 13, 14 and was gone. And so Duke Johnson, as a true freshman in 2012, backed up Mike James, who was the last senior starter. Now, of course, we've had senior backs who were on the team. But as far as senior starters, Mike James was the last one. because after that, Duke Johnson left as a true junior. You had Mark Walton, who left, Travis Homer, who left, DJ Dallas, who left. Now Cam Harris is actually coming back. So he will be the first senior starting running back since Mike James, almost a decade. That's not good. And it's not like they were leaving because we're this elite program and we're pushing them out into the top 2 rounds. Nah. A lot of them just got up and left.
Okay. Because that's what I was going to point to. I was going to say that could be a good sign.
Not in Miami.
You know, I don't know the last time Ohio State had a senior running back because Carlos Hyde and Zeke Elliott and J.K. Dobbins are taken off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then of those, Duke and Mark Walton, well, no, all of them has been drafted. Duke Johnson was drafted 3rd round. Mark Walton was drafted in the 4th round. Joe Yerby, undrafted, and had a cup of coffee with the 49ers for like 2 days. DJ Dallas was like 5th round. Travis Homer was like 5th round, somewhere in there. So all of them have been drafted, and all of them are still on active rosters, excluding Mark Walton because of his off-the-field stuff. But
Gus Edwards left early?
Well, Gus Edwards transferred to Rutgers.
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's right. Forgot
about that. Miami, but he played his best ball at Rutgers.
Yep. He's still with the Ravens, right?
Yes, he is.